Mamata Banerjee has proved.
India reels under severe heat wave. 95 out of 100 world's hottest cities today are in India. The top 10 hottest cities as temperature soars. Here's what's causing the extreme heat. Here's what the experts are predicting.
Well, do you remember that iconic Glucon-D ad? The one where the sun is literally slurping up all your energy with a straw. Well, that exaggeration doesn't feel so exaggerated anymore, because this is exactly what Indian summers feel like today. With IMD issuing heatwave alerts, the summer feels relentless, draining and impossible to escape. India's summer of 2026 is no longer just a seasonal spike in temperature. It is a defining moment that is testing the country's resilience at multiple levels. What was once considered a predictable phase of harsh weather has now evolved into something far more prolonged, intense and disruptive. Across vast stretches of north and central India, the heat is not just rising, it is persisting, expanding and deepening, turning everyday life into a struggle against extreme conditions. In states like Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and in the national capital, Delhi, temperatures have consistently crossed 45 degrees Celsius, with some regions nearing 47 degrees across India. And according to the Indian Meteorological Department, these readings are not isolated anomalies. In many areas, temperatures are running 5 degrees Celsius above normal, signaling a broader pattern of abnormal heat stress. This is no longer a case of a few exceptionally hot days. It is a sustained and widespread heat wave that is affecting millions simultaneously. What makes this heat wave particularly significant is how it compares to the global context. Well, while the Earth as a whole has warmed by about 1.5 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times, India's current conditions are far more extreme than that average might suggest. On April 22nd, India recorded 19 of the world's 20 hottest cities, a striking statistic that underscores the intensity of the heat gripping the country. Regions in West Asia and Africa, often associated with extreme desert climates, were on that day cooler than larger parts of India. This highlights a crucial reality. Global warming may be gradual, but its regional impact can be sudden, sharp and disproportionately severe. The situation becomes even clearer when we look at temperatures across major cities. Delhi has already touched 42.8 degrees Celsius, its highest this year so far. Sri Ganganagar has recorded 44.5 degrees. Large parts of Rajasthan are approaching 46 to 47 degrees, while cities across Uttar Pradesh are consistently reporting temperatures above 43 to 45 degrees. Even southern regions are not spared, with cities in Karnataka and Maharashtra crossing 40 degrees. Today, the hottest cities in India are recording 45 degrees Celsius. These cities include Mughal Sarai, Mangarh, Allahabad, Mirzapur, Ghazipur, Orai, Jaunpur, Auraiya, Fatehpur, Banda. Interestingly, all of them are in Uttar Pradesh. Well, let's talk specifically about the national capital now. In recent years, Delhi has experienced temperatures above 40 degrees for nearly 40 consecutive days, a trend that is now repeating itself. Urban areas are particularly vulnerable. Heat-trapping infrastructure, reduced green cover, and dense populations have turned many parts of cities into heat islands. Areas like Ayanagar, Najafgarh, and Safdarjung have repeatedly recorded extreme temperatures, highlighting how urbanization is amplifying the impact of natural heat. This naturally raises the question, is India now the hottest country in the world? The answer is nuanced. Countries like Mali have higher average annual temperatures, making them statistically hotter over time. Similarly, nations in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, frequently record temperatures above 45 to 50 degrees Celsius. You can see a comparison of their daytime maximum temperatures in annual values on the screen. While India records 31.5 degrees Celsius, these nations are higher in those valued. However, what sets India apart is the scale and intensity of human exposure. With a massive population spread across diverse climate zones, the number of people affected by extreme heat here is far greater. It is not just about how high the temperature goes, but how many people are exposed to it, for how long, and with what level of protection. Geography plays a crucial role in shaping this reality. As explained by Himanshu Tyagi, IFS, India experiences a pressure cooker effect. The Himalayas act as a barrier, blocking cool winds from Central Asia, while hot, dry winds from the Thar Desert sweep across northern India. This combination traps heat over the subcontinent. Add to this India's proximity to the equator, which ensures strong polar radiation, and rapid urbanization, which replaces cooling green cover with heat-absorbing concrete, and the result is a system where heat accumulates and intensifies. But look at these other figures affected due to heat wave in India. In 2024, India's peak power demand reached 250 gigawatts in May, setting a record at the time. In 2025, the peak demand was 242.77 gigawatts in June. But in 2026, the country was already crossing 256 gigawatts in April itself. This shift is significant. It shows that extreme heat is arriving earlier in the season and placing pressure on infrastructure much sooner than expected. Last year's summer in 2025 was severe but relatively shorter. Heat waves were intense but episodic. This year, however, the heat wave is longer, more widespread and more persistent. It is not just a temporary spike but a sustained phase of extreme heat that is affecting multiple regions at the same time. The Indian Meteorological Department has already projected that the summer of 2026 will be harsh, with heat wave conditions expected to continue across northern, central and parts of peninsular India. While there is also growing concern about rising nighttime temperatures, which are particularly dangerous because they prevent the body from cooling down and recovering after extreme daytime heat. Warm nights significantly increase health risks, especially for vulnerable populations. Experts are increasingly warning that the implications of such heat extend far beyond discomfort. Institutions such as McKinsey and Company, the International Labour Organization, the International Monetary Fund and the Lancet have highlighted the economic risks posed by rising temperatures. Estimates suggest that between 2.5 and 4.5% of India's GDP could be at risk annually due to heat-related productivity losses. The country could face economic losses of $150 to $250 billion each year. Around 34 million full-time jobs could effectively be lost due to heat exposure, while 167 billion labor hours were already lost in 2021 alone. Heat-related deaths have increased by 55% over the past 2 decades. While these projections challenge the assumption that India's economic growth will continue uninterrupted, outdoor work becomes unsafe during peak hours and even indoor work is impacted by rising cooling demand and energy stress. This is particularly significant in a country where a large portion of the workforce is engaged in labor-intensive sectors. Beyond economics and infrastructure lies the human cost. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat increases the risk of heat exhaustion, heat stroke, dehydration and cardiovascular stress. Vulnerable groups including children, the elderly and those with existing health conditions are particularly at risk. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued advisories urging people to avoid direct sunlight during peak hours, stay hydrated, wear light clothing and take necessary precautions. Cities like Delhi are responding with heat action plans that include setting up cool rooms in hospitals, distributing oral rehydration solutions, deploying water tankers and identifying high-risk zones using satellite data. Measures such as reflective cool roofs and misting systems are being introduced to reduce urban heat. These steps reflect a growing recognition that heat waves are not temporary disruptions but recurring challenges that require long-term planning. Yet, even as these responses take shape, a deeper concern looms. Scientific studies suggest that parts of South Asia could approach dangerous wet bulb temperatures, a combination of heat and humidity that the human body cannot tolerate for extended periods. Some projections warn that up to 2.2 billion people in the region could face such conditions by the end of the century. This places India at the front line of the global climate crisis. The heat wave of 2026 is not just about rising temperatures, it is about the limits of human endurance, the vulnerability of economic systems, and the urgent need for adaptation. What is becoming increasingly clear is that this is not an exception, it is a pattern. And if current trends continue, what India is experiencing today may well become the norm rather than the anomaly. The challenge then is not just to survive this summer, it is to prepare for every summer that follows.
India reels under severe heat wave. 95 out of 100 world's hottest cities today are in India. The top 10 hottest cities as temperature soars. Here's what's causing the extreme heat. Here's what the experts are predicting.